All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Ethan Budwig, and I'm the all-school president. I feel tremendous pride and honor to be a part of such a special occasion, and I would like to thank you all for being here for the 2024 Shipley Alumni Assembly. I especially want to thank our 4 Alumni Award recipients for coming. I think one of the most impressive features of Shipley alumni as a whole is the wide variety of paths that each graduate pursues. Amongst the alumni, we see doctors, authors, lawyers, educators, and more. I believe that this speaks to the value of the Shipley curriculum and how it encourages skills such as creativity and ambition. I must say, it feels pretty surreal being a senior, knowing that in only a couple of months, the class of 24 will join the community of Shipley alumni. To better prepare myself for this transition, I've started doing some research, and after a quick Google search, I found that there are more than 5,700 Shipley alumni out there, the vast majority of which I'm sure were taught by Miss Gadden at some point. I look forward to soon being a part of this vibrant community of Shipley alumni. Over the years, I'd say Shipley's changed a fair amount since its conception back in 1894. And I guess we still don't have a football team, but some things never change. Another thing that has not changed is Shipley's overall message, to encourage graduates to make an impact in the world around them. Our 4 Alumni Award recipients are clear examples of this, and I look forward to hearing from you all. I'd now like to introduce the Vice President, my twin brother, to say a few words. And to all the alumni, I know what you're thinking. Since when were the all-school presidents at the Shipley School so well-spoken, well-dressed, and good-looking? And to that, I say, well, that's more of a Budway thing, not a president thing. Thank you very much, and move to the better.
Thank you, Ethan. Before we welcome our returning alumni to speak about all of their accomplishments, we would like to recognize a current member of our community who also happens to be an alumni. Ms. Dadar, this event marks the 20th year since you received your diploma from this very school. And since then, your tremendous impact at Shipley has not gone unnoticed. Your leadership skills, enthusiasm, and positive attitude have helped brighten the community since the first day you've been here. More personally, Ethan and I have immensely enjoyed our time working with you this year. I can speak for all of the student government when I say, Ms. Dadar, thanks for being you. We wish you the best of luck with the rest of your career, and we know you'll accomplish great things. Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor and Ethan. Thanks also for that personal note regarding Ms. Dadar. I really appreciate those kind words. I want to offer a special welcome to all of our alumni friends who are with us today. My name is Michael Turner. It's my privilege and honor to serve as Shipley's 10th head of school, and it's my delight and joy to welcome you back to campus today. In some cases back from earlier this week for folks who are on campus for a meeting, and in other cases it may have been years or even decades. So whether it's been a couple of minutes or many, many years, welcome back, welcome home. And I also want to recognize those who've come with significant others, partners, friends, those who've endured all those Shipley stories for all the years, and you're finally back here to see it live and in person. That takes a special kind of love, so thank you to you for coming back today. As Trevor and Ethan talked about, there's a lot going on today. As you heard some of our students mention, you're noticing kids are all dressed up in sports, Philly sports memorabilia. Contrary to popular opinion, that was not at the request of Khaki Rogers to have people in lots of Philly stuff. The reason for that is the Speer week that leads up to this. A great educator, a mentor of mine said one time that the most important school in the school's history is the one that's happening right now, because it's the one that our students are experiencing right now. And so if you're on campus for the first time in a long time, or if you're here often, I encourage you to lean into, please speak with our students, ask them what they're doing, ask them where they're going to college, what they're doing this summer, because there's a lot of wonderful things happening on this campus, and we're really grateful for you being back here today. Everything from the lower school play, Finding Nemo, I think it's sold out. We might be able to scalp a few tickets for later, but it's wonderful. So thank you for being here. A couple of notes. While the most important Shipley is the Shipley that's happening today. You as alums are part of that. You heard Trevor and Ethan mention the history of the school. I say often that Shipley has been many schools over its history. Founded in 1894 with the crazy, as Srinath says, daring vision of sending young women across the street to get, not to experience finishing school, but serious academic preparation. We're talking multivariable calculus, organic chemistry, Latin. This was not a common idea in 1894. We've held on to that tradition. It just looks a little different today because the world's a little different today. And I hope that you will lean into and feel that spirit and see alive in new ways the school that you love and hold on to and cherish. And that our 4 award recipients will exemplify to us back today. We want to take good care of you. So please, if you need anything, ask. Compassionate participation begins here on campus, so please ask if there's anything we can do. And part of that taking care of you, I offer the following announcement. If you have a BMW SUV and you drove here today, your flashers are on and you may want to take care of that afterwards. So somebody mentioned that on the way in, so you don't have to go right now, but please be aware. So a few other special welcomes before I hand things over to Ellie to take us through our program. First, our alumni artist, whose opening is this afternoon. Many people have gotten to see his work. A member of the class of 2004, Peter McCullough. Peter, congratulations. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing your work. Families, alumni from near and far, thank you so much for being here today. We're delighted to welcome you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And with that, I'm going to hand things off to our incoming alumni president, Ellie Anderson McGibbon. Thanks, everybody.
As you'll finally join the Shipley community, we have thousands of incredibly talented and successful Shipley alumni who have achieved amazing feats around the world. Determining the recipients of the awards we're about to present remains ever challenging, but it is a task that Rob Douglas, the chair of our Alumni Awards Committee, leads tirelessly. Unfortunately, Rob couldn't be here today, but I'm very excited for you to meet this year's inspired recipients. And with that, I'll hand things over to Neil.
Neil Rugino, I am the current Alumni Council President. Been doing this for 6 years, and now I've passed it on to Ellie, so all alumni to read their things go to her. Also, as she mentioned, Rob Douglas, I've done a really good job of making sure he reads these every year, and for him not being here, I've been reading this. And I did have Chris Jaffe as a teacher. She did not teach me how to publicly speak or read, so boy, so the first award is for the Shipley Young Alumni Award. So the Shipley Young Alumni Award recognizes a Shipley alum who has graduated within the preceding 20 years and demonstrates innovation and curiosity and creativity in the pursuit of excellence in a particular field, whether it be in a profession, through formal volunteer activities unrelated to the school, or through personal commitment to an issue, project, or cause. This year's award recipient is Evan Sippel-Feldman, who embodies a unique blend of legal expertise and unyielding dedication to the LGBTQIA+ rights. He's a seasoned in-house technology counsel with expertise in data and artificial intelligence. Currently, Evan works at Accenture as legal counsel, senior legal counsel, serving as the North American legal lead for applied intelligence and supervising a team of international attorneys. Before his role at Accenture, Evan was a senior counsel at Vanguard, where he authored their first legal and ethical AI framework addressing data, health, bias, transparency, explainability, and data minimization. His professional work extends beyond the boardroom. While at Vanguard, he was appointed to co-chair for the company's pro bono committee and was selected as one of 2 attorneys to serve as a fellow for the Leadership Council on Legal Diversity. Evan has been deeply involved in the LGBTQIA+ advocacy since 2008, when he joined the American Foundation for Equal Rights, or AFER. AFER sponsored federal litigation challenging California's Prop 8, which bans same-sex marriage. The case Evan worked on ultimately restored marriage equality in California, setting an important precedent. Evan continues to prioritize pro bono work in his legal practice. Recent examples include supporting immigrants, helping a woman with a wrongful foreclosure action to remain in her home, serving as a member of the attained 501c3 status, which helps incarcerated individuals petition for clemency, and many others. These experiences have always informed and been central to Evan's work as an attorney, and Evan's exceptional dedication to advancing the LGBTQIA+ rights, pioneering legal framework and technology, and unwavering commitment to pro bono advocacy make us proud to call him a Shipley alum. His work inspires us all to pursue excellence with passion and purpose. It is with great enthusiasm that the Alumni Council presents the Shipley Young Alumni Award to Evan Sippel-Feldman, class of 2000.
There's a lot of attention given to data and artificial intelligence, and in my opinion, rightfully so. Data covers anything and everything, from the mundane to our demographic information, to finances, to health. And all of that information can fuel a complex algorithm to build a profile that presumes to know who we are and what we want. It's opaque, and folks are asking, how can we police this technology to combat bias and other types of misuse? And the short answer, so much as there is one, is diversity. You need a group of people with different areas of expertise and different life experiences to come together around the same table to hold one another accountable. I think about, okay, who am I when I sit at that table? Like everyone, I'm a mix of things. I'm a lawyer, yes, but I'm also a Shipley alum. I'm a former JV squash athlete. Hold your applause, that's no big deal. I'm a married dad of twins, and I'm a gay man who has his own personal experience in combating bias. I want to take you back to 2008. I was a recent graduate living in Los Angeles. California was one of only 2 states in the country at that time where gay couples could marry, and voters were considering a ballot measure called Proposition 8 to eliminate that right. The proponents of Prop 8 relied on a lot of slogans, things like, children will be harmed by the LGBT agenda, or God made marriage between one man and one woman. The state has nothing to do with it. And if we legalize gay marriage, they will be teaching it in the schools. Sadly, the fear campaign worked and Proposition 8 passed. All I could think was that the profile they had built about gay people as scary, people who threaten families, people who threaten schools, was all wrong. I wanted a way for our community to take the microphone and announce for ourselves who we are and what we want. And an opportunity to do just that presented itself. I became the second employee of a group that filed a lawsuit to reestablish marriage equality in California. At trial, our team's diverse experts took the stand. Men and women, gay and straight, who took on the false assumptions that the Prop 8 campaign had made. Only these were grounded in evidence about the reality of gay people, their families, and their relationships. Ultimately, the proponents of Prop 8 couldn't muster evidence to validate their position, and Prop 8 was struck down. We set an important precedent on the road to full federal equality. So, when I sit at the table and I'm thinking about data and artificial intelligence, I bring that experience with me. It sensitizes me to the fact that we must always scrutinize what it is we think we know. Cultivating diverse teams is an ancillary to my job. It's the critical ingredient in whether I am successful as a lawyer. And that skill set, the ability to think critically and to overcome bias through diversity, to the extent to which I have it, it has its origins right here at Shipley. I'm looking forward to the conversation today, and thank you so much.
Second award is the Shipley Alumni Service Award. So the Alumni Service Award is presented for outstanding volunteer service to the Shipley School by an alum as demonstrated by strong loyalty, exceptional contributions of time and effort, and personal commitment to the advancement of the school's mission. This year's award recipient is Alisha Fairfax. She's an accomplished educator and administrator who currently serves as the vice president at KIPP DC Will Academy. After graduating from Shipley in 2009, Alisha earned a Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education from North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University, and a Master's of Science in Educational Studies from Johns Hopkins University School of Education. In her role as vice president, she manages a team of humanities teachers guiding their professional development and ensuring alignment with departmental goals. Alisha also plans and facilitates school-wide professional development and data meetings and organizes opportunities for parents' engagement in meetings. Alisha's approach is rooted in her commitment to educational equity and excellence. She is dedicated to creating a supportive and inclusive learning environment for her students. In addition to her work at KIPP DC, Alisha actively participates in supporting Shipley. She's the co-chair of the Engagement Committee on the Alumni Council and co-leads the Black Alumni Association, or BAA, which she helped found in 2020. Alisha also championed efforts to establish the Black Alumni Association Endowment Fund and collaborates closely with the Alumni Office to plan events that foster connectivity with the BAA and the broader Shipley community. Despite living in the DC metro area, Alisha is a familiar face in the Shipley community. Whether it's joining us for regional events or driving over 2 hours to be on campus for commencement ceremonies, alumni reunion weekends, Thanksgiving events, and more. We know we can count on Alisha's support and active engagement. Through her exceptional contributions, personal commitment, and steadfast loyalty to Shipley's missions, values, Alisha continues to make a meaningful impact in the Shipley community, inspiring students and alumni alike. With deep gratitude and immense pride, the Alumni Council presents the Shipley School Alumni Service Award to Alisha Fairfax, class of 2000.
I am deeply honored and humbled to accept the Young Alumni Service Award. Thank God for putting this work on my heart and just instilling this value in my spirit. Thank you to my family for providing me with this opportunity to attend Shipley as a high schooler. I started in 9th grade. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Shipley just for recognizing my contributions. It's truly a privilege to be acknowledged among such a talented and dedicated group of individuals that join me on stage today. Receiving this award is not just a personal achievement, but a testament to the collective effort of a team of individuals working toward a common goal. I'm fortunate enough to have had the opportunity to collaborate with incredible students, incredible families, incredible staff, and fellow alumni of Shipley who have inspired me and supported me along the way. Your commitment to excellence and your unwavering dedication to our cause has made this journey immensely rewarding. I want to specifically shout out Adrian Kenton, Sharifa Atkins, Tasha Plaza, and Hakeem Coles, who were instrumental in the beginning days of the Black Alumni Association. Hakeem, who's with us today with his family, has continued to be a great partner in this work and the sounding board over the years. I also want to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Beverly Vaughn, who you'll hear from in a bit, for being one of the first Black students to graduate from Shipley. Just thank you for paving the way for me for instance when I was happening. All right, time for my quick Black Alumni Association elevator speech. It was peak COVID time and George Floyd had just been murdered by the police. Different businesses were posting their stances and voicing their opinions. Then the thought came to mind, what is Shipley doing? As I'm sitting on my living room floor. I moseyed on over to the website to find a disheartening and tone-deaf message to the community. I texted my friends Alex and Morgan, also class of 2009, to see if what I saw read the same to them. And then I said, we have to do something about this. Over the course of a week, we were able to engage over 100 Black alumni through the GroupMe app. After this, there were months of conversations, months of listening, months of meeting, months of strategizing, months of finding new shocking information, and more importantly, months of collaborating and months of acting. We were able to come together virtually to reconnect, make some new connections, share stories, and influence action. We hosted a panel with some of the first very Black Shipley students. We hosted a college and mental health session. We hosted a bowling event. We launched a virtual mentoring program, and we have gifted a group of Black seniors every year since 2020. And our greatest accomplishment is establishing our endowment. Hakeem actually stood in front of a group of people 2 years ago to accept the same award. And at that point, we were about halfway at the halfway mark in establishing the endowment. And I'm glad to stand before you today saying that our endowment is fully funded, and it has been supporting students of Shipley at conferences, field trips, and many more adventures to come in the future. Lastly, we became Shipley's first official alumni affinity group, laying the foundation for both the LGBTQIA+ and international alumni associations that we now have. Service is at the heart of everything we do, whether it's through our work, our volunteer efforts, our daily interactions with others. We have the power to make a positive impact in the world. And this award serves as a reminder of the importance of service and the responsibility we have to give back to our communities. Anyone at any age can impact change. Once again, thank you for this honor. I am truly grateful for the opportunity to serve and make a difference. Together, let us continue to inspire, uplift, and create a brighter future for all. Thank you.
The Distinguished Alumni Award recognizes the outstanding achievement, the dedication, and the personal accomplishments of a Shipley alum in a particular field of endeavor, whether it be in a chosen profession, through formal volunteer activities unrelated to the school, or through a personal commitment to an issue, project, or cause. Roxana Berry Robinson is the author of 11 books, 7 novels, 3 collections of short stories, and the biography of Georgia O'Keeffe. 4 of these were chosen as New York Times notable books, and 2 as New York Times Editor's Choice. Roxana's fiction has appeared in The New Yorker, The Atlantic, Harper's, Best American Short Stories, and elsewhere. Her work has been widely anthologized and broadcast on NPR. Her books have been published in England, France, Germany, Holland, and Spain. She is a scholar of American paintings and an environmentalist, and her essays, criticism, and op-eds have appeared in numerous publications, including the New York Times, the Chicago Tribune, the Philadelphia Inquirer, and the Washington Post. Her 2008 novel, Cost, won the Maine Writers and Publishers Alliance Book Award for Fiction, and was listed as one of the best books of the year by multiple publications. Her 2013 novel, Sparta, won the Maine Fiction Award, the Marine Corps James Webb Award, and was named one of the 10 best books of the year by the BBC. Her latest novel, Leaving, received a Kirkus Star Review and is one of Oprah's most anticipated books of 2021. Roxana Robinson has received fellowships from the National Endowment for the Arts, the Guggenheim Foundation, and the McDowell Colony, and she was named a Literary Lion by the New York Public Library. She has served on the boards of PEN America and the Authors Guild, and was the president of the Authors Guild from 2013 to 2017. Roxana received the 2019 Barnes & Noble's Writers for Writers Award and the 2023 Award for Distinguished Service to the Literary Community from the Authors Guild. In addition to writing, she teaches in the MFA program at Hunter College. Roxana also has a long-standing commitment to and involvement with Shipley. In 1998, Roxana delivered the commencement address at Shipley's graduation ceremony. As she concluded her speech, Roxana reflected, "The stories are all around. All I want is the opportunity to discover them. When I think I've succeeded at that, then I feel I've accomplished something." Roxana's achievements are proof of an accomplished career and reflect the academic rigor and intellectual creativity cultivated by a Shipley education. In recognition of her significant impact and notable contributions to literature, the Alumni Council proudly presents the Shipley School Distinguished Alumni Award to Roxana Berry Robinson, class of 1964.
When I was writing one of my novels, I included a description of a woman who was assigned Charlotte Bronte's short, obscure, and hermetic novella, Villette. That she was assigned to read that as a sophomore in high school. My editor blue-lined that, and she wrote in the margin, "Not credible. No school would assign that book to a sophomore in high school." I blue-lined her blue line, and I wrote, "And yet it was." When I was at Shipley, we read Charlotte Bronte, we read Henry James, Edith Wharton, Virginia Woolf, William Butler Yeats, Wallace Stevens, T.S. Eliot, and Shakespeare. Our wonderful English teachers, Mary Ann Riley and Isoda Tucker Epps, introduced us to the great ocean of literature. That ocean of literature which introduces empathy, the idea of the other, another era, another gender, another person, another place. So when I graduated from Shipley, I had an understanding of the world through literature that Shipley had given me. It had also given me the idea of the possibility of being a writer. It was at Shipley that a teacher first suggested that I send a work out for publication. I didn't do that. I did publish in the Compass, which I was very proud of. But I did start to think that I could have a life as a writer. And Shipley also encouraged us all to engage with the larger world. And I did that through my novels. My first two novels, Summer Light and This Is My Daughter, were ones in which I explored the idea of divorce and remarriage, which are both very prominent in American society. I was particularly interested in that idea of remarriage and the question of whether or not you could create a whole marriage by using the shards of two broken ones. In my next novel, Sweetwater, I was interested in the idea of the environment. It was 2003, and I thought the world was on fire, and I wanted to write about that. I also wanted to write about grief and how that can enter into somebody's emotional life and change it. All of my novels deal with ideas through the lens of the family, which is really the fundamental unit that everyone uses, Sophocles and Shakespeare and James and Woolf. Everyone uses a family. So my next novel after Sweetwater was Pause, which was meant to be a very short novel. My novels are all meant to be very short and written very quickly. They know the bar. This was meant to be about 3 generations and the idea of how they related to each other. It turned out to be about heroin addiction and Alzheimer's and how they echo and reverberate within a family. That took me 5 years because I had to learn what heroin addiction meant within a family, and I had to talk to addicts and policemen and doctors and interventionists and family members. The next book was Sparta. I became troubled and confused and interested in what it meant to be at war. We were at war with Iraq, and I wanted to know what it was like to be at war and what it was like to come home, what that meant. So that took 5 years of talking to Marines and Marines' families. And my next book was Dawson's Fall, in which I wrote about my great-grandparents who lived in Charleston, South Carolina after the Civil War. And it became an interrogation not only of my family, but of white complicity in our great national crime of slavery. My most recent book, Leaving, is really an investigation of the idea of honor and what that might mean in our intimate, most private personal lives. So thanks to Shipley, I have engaged with the larger world. Novel writing makes that very easy. But writing is very solitary, and you need a community to engage with as well. I was very fortunate to become engaged with the Authors Guild, which is the oldest and largest writers' organization in the country. We protect copyright, which is so important to our democracy that it was written into the Constitution, because the founders wanted a free flow of ideas, and they knew that that would only be possible if writers were compensated for their work. So I've been fortunate to stay a part of that community for the last several decades. But Shipley has never been far from my life. And after my first story came out of the New Yorker, the magazine forwarded me a letter that had come in from a reader. It said, "Dear Ms. Robinson, I wanted to tell you how much I loved your story, Getting On. I liked the writing, I liked the narrative, it was very moving and very beautiful. I want to tell you I've never written to a writer before like this, but your story meant a lot to me. I've never read your work before, but I look forward to seeing more of it." She had included her name and address, so I wrote back to her, and he said, "Thank you for your kind words. They mean a lot to me, but I must correct you. You have read my work before. You read my essay on Hamlet. You've read my essay on Henry James, on Virginia Woolf. Thank you, Mrs. Epps. And thank you, Shipley."
The fourth award we have to give today is a very special award. It's the Margaret Bailey Speer Award. Miss Margaret Bailey Speer was the Shipley School headmistress from 1944 to 1965. And in this role, she was a strong role model for women to live lives of purpose and service. The Margaret Bailey Speer Award is given to a graduate who has shown courage for the deed, grace for the doing, whose deeds have helped to make the community stronger and freer, who has in some way helped to lessen prejudice, intolerance, and injustice, or whose accomplishments, political, artistic, literary, or scientific, bring credit to them and also to the Shipley School. Dr. Beverly Vaughn is a highly accomplished obstetrician and gynecologist with over 4 decades of experience dedicated to advancing women's health. Raised in West Philadelphia, she transferred to Shipley in 8th grade, graduating in 1969. Beverly earned a Bachelor of Arts from Oberlin College, majoring in psychology and dance, before returning to Philadelphia to pursue her interest in women's health care. She obtained her medical degree from Temple University School of Medicine in 1978 and completed her internship and residency at Pennsylvania Hospital between 1978 and 1982. From 1982 to 1984, Dr. Vaughn fulfilled a scholarship obligation with the U.S. Public Health Service at a clinic in Germantown. In 2023, after a long and accomplished medical career, Dr. Vaughn retired from her thriving gynecology practice at Lincoln Elm Hospital. In addition to her private practice, Dr. Vaughn served as the medical director of the resident ambulatory facility, where she had both administrative and educational responsibilities. She also held the role of associate program director for the obstetrics and gynecology residency program at Lincoln Elm Medical Center, and was a clinical assistant professor at Jefferson Medical College. Throughout her career, Dr. Vaughn has been actively involved in professional organizations, community service, and advocacy initiatives, including Planned Parenthood and educational symposiums. Her commitment to excellence has been recognized with numerous accolades, including the March of Dimes Women of Achievement Award and Philadelphia Magazine's Top Docs recognition. In addition to her clinical and academic pursuits, Dr. Vaughn has made prolific contributions to medical literature and media presentations, further underscoring her dedication to advancing women's health and shaping the future of healthcare. Today, we recognize Dr. Beverly Vaughn as an alumna who truly embodied the school motto, and whose accomplishments have brought credit to herself and the Shipley School. The Alumni Council is very proud to present Dr. Vaughn with the 19th Margaret Bailey Speer Award.
I'm so grateful and honored to be here. I am grateful to the Alumni Council for awarding me the Margaret Bailey Speer Award. I'm grateful to share this stage, and I want to congratulate the other awardees because, you know, they're all incredible, and I'm glad to be honored along with them. I'm also glad that people are here to support me. And I'm going to shout out my comrades from the class of '69. There's Speer, there's Molly, there's Layla, there's me, there's Eleanor, so thank you so much for coming. And as I look around the room, I do see other people that are here to support me, friends and patients that were also Shipley grads, so we're everywhere. And we do support each other. So I'm really bad at giving speeches where I'm at the center of the speech. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time, actually probably not going to any time, talking about my career path because I don't think of it as riveting. It's just something that I did step by step. You heard something about that, so I don't need to talk about it again. So Margaret Felix Speer was an icon. I knew she had a long-term commitment for education and missionary work. I didn't know everything, so of course what did I do? I went to Wikipedia to find out some details. And I discovered that in 1941, she'd been interned in a Japanese camp for, and this is in quotes, enemy aliens who were living in China. Ms. Speer must have had a great deal of fortitude, and you're going to hear that word several more times, to sustain herself and her goals to survive what was certainly a dehumanizing experience. While heading her trips at Shipley School from 1944 to 1965, as we heard, and I really don't know now anybody who's been head of school for 2 decades. That just doesn't seem to happen anymore. So fortitude again for working ahead. She championed her belief that all girls deserved an excellent education. Under her tenure, Shipley began admitting African American and also Jewish students. It challenged the status quo. That required a dedication to equal access to education and fortitude. I was in that first group of African American students. I entered in 8th grade as a day student, the only African American student in my class. From 9th to 12th grade, I was a boarder. I remained the only student of color in my class until I graduated. I loved my time. Fabulous, I carry it with me today. Was I skeptical about this educational opportunity? Yeah, you bet. And it wasn't at that point for me because of racial issues, but it was because I was changing from a public education to a private one. And I knew it would be different, but had no clue in what way. I do have to acknowledge my parents, who, as college-educated individuals, knew that an excellent education was the foundation that was necessary for a successful future. They felt that Shipley would provide that, and I was not to miss it. I was going no matter what, and I'm glad that they had me, encouraged me to go. Meeting with Speer was intimidating, warm and fuzzy. She was not. And it was also encouraging. I could see that she was someone with courage and vision to commit to her values and see them through. All of us now, I believe, have heard of the girl gap, when at a very young age, girls stop believing that they are as smart and capable as boys. They then start feeling less than, they lose their confidence, and they lose themselves. The beauty of Shipley was that Miss Speer, the educators, did believe in a girl gap. Now, okay, it was an all-girls school at that point, so of course not, but they knew that they had to prepare you for life because life wasn't going to be all girls. Life wasn't going to be all the kinds of people that you were surrounded by when you were being educated. So they are preparing you for life on a bigger stage. So how did they accomplish this? The teachers fostered analytical thinking. It was ask questions. dig down into what you were presenting. Does it make sense? Is there another lens to look through? We were encouraged to have a voice. Not that our voices were always welcome if we were rebelling, and my classmates will remember when we rebelled against the dress code and wanted to wear pants and not really for a while. But I don't remember that we were discouraged from speaking out. It was have a voice and have the confidence to use it. They taught us to commit to an idea, to a project, to a goal. Then comes the important part, do the work. This will sound trite, but it's true. It won't always be easy. It may require a change of direction and will always require fortitude. They taught the importance of respect, not only for yourself, but the people with whom you work and the community that you wish to serve. You'll accomplish more. And this is my bit of advice. Please have a sense of humor. There will be times that you will need a good, hearty laugh. Thank you.
So our first question was for all of the award winners. How did your experience as a Shipley student prepare you for your career? And were there any specific activities or classes that you took that directed you toward your field of interest?
So I've already said my wonderful English teachers, Mary Ann Wiley and Isoda Tuckerex, were beacons for me. But since we raised the subject of Ms. Speer, I just have one wonderful memory that she didn't teach English, but she deeply understood the value of English literature. We had Marianne Moore and Archibald McLeish came to the school to talk. But even better than that, each year, Ms. Speer would read aloud to the seniors. We would go into the common room and have tea, and she read a wonderful story at Christmas and one at Halloween. It was such a huge luxury to sit in that room listening to someone celebrate the words of the story, and I will not forget that.
For me, I always knew I wanted to be an educator since a young age. But what Shipley taught me in terms of preparing for my career is to always embrace challenges. I started Shipley as a freshman, and I went to Catholic school for 6 years before coming here. So the environment was pretty different. But when I came to Shipley, the academic challenges, the challenges of navigating a new environment in high school, those were very new to me, and they were difficult. A lot of children that I was going to school with didn't come from the same place as me, and so adapting and adjusting to that environment wasn't a challenge for me. And within that, Shipley was very supportive in embracing those challenges. I had people that I could talk to. I had teachers that would always check in with me so that I could embrace these challenges head on. So I would say that Shipley very much prepared me to be able to tackle challenges head on in phase one and make sure that I have my support team around me to help me navigate through those challenges.
So I think one of the things that Shipley gave to me was you can do anything. And, so I didn't think about being a doctor when I was at Shipley, although I loved biology, but I wanted to do psychology instead. And, as you heard, my major was psychology and dance. At the point that I was nobody majored in psychology and dance. I created my own independent major, and nobody went to medical school having not majored in chemistry or physics or whatever, but I thought, why not? My interest in women's health care started blossoming, and I thought, I could do this. And a lot of it came from Shipley, who would encourage us to follow whatever path we wanted to do and that we could be successful at doing it.
I think similarly, in high school, you weren't taking a law class. So I don't think I was thinking of this as a class that's going to necessarily exactly prepare me for a career in law. I was even considering a career in law at that point. But there were a number of really fabulous teachers and classes that were preparing me in a way that I appreciated at the time. I think about just Slade Emerson that was preparing me to be great. Get up in front of people, talk to people, listen. When you're acting, you have to listen to what the other person's saying and respond, making me a good listener, which I think has served me really well as a lawyer. And I think about some of my history classes. One of the history classes I took as a senior that really had an impact on me was Mr. Rand's class on Russia and contemporary history in Europe. And we had our textbooks, absolutely, but we also were reading a newspaper every day. We would come in and we'd get the copy of the New York Times print edition, and we'd be looking at what is happening in the world today. And that sensitized me to the idea that history isn't something that's stagnant and over. It's being written now. It's connected to the past, of course, but we are choosing to decide now what will our history be and how are we living it and understanding it. And I think that's also helped me appreciate things in my consulting practice and other legal topics.
Thank you so much for those answers. So the next question is also for all of you. What is your fondest memory from your time as a Shipley student?
Go first. Running these hallways, y'all. I had a good time at Shipley. Just being involved in everything that I wanted to be involved in. Shipley provides a lot of opportunities for you to find your own path, whether it is through the arts, whether it's through sports, whether it's through the yearbook committee, whether it's through student government. That's one thing that I really appreciated about Shipley, is that I was on the yearbook committee, I was a co-athletic head, I played on the basketball team, and I was able to do all the things that I wanted to do and develop relationships among the Shipley community. I even look out now and it's like crazy to me that I graduated 15 years ago and there's still faces of adults that are in this room that taught me. I also was taught by Ms. Jackie, but even Mr. Shepard up there, that was my freshman year advisor. Just the support system and the relationships that were built and the opportunities are at the core of all of my fondest memories here at Shipley.
So one thing I appreciate is that, we graduated in 1969, that was a long time ago. And yet we still love each other, we're still in a connection. I don't think that happens very often, that you have these long-term relationships. So I'm grateful for that. One of the things that I remember that I cherish wasn't academic, even though the academics are great, but it was, I was a boarder, and the board will appreciate this, when after studying hall at night, we would turn on our record players and dance in the hallways. And we had the best time, and that is one of my fondest memories.
So just to kind of repeat, I think one of the things that I'm hearing is the relationships and the friendships. It's not a specific thing about one fond memory, but one of the most important things that ever happened in my whole life, my best friend who is in the audience today, I met him in the 3rd grade. And even more important than anything I was learning in the classroom was I was building a friendship with someone in a real and meaningful way. And a relationship that was able to grow between our families and that still endures today. And it was a relationship that helped me understand things about myself and grow. And you think about that being a part of the Shipley community, it's the deep relationships that I have that had paid dividends for me personally throughout my entire life. That was ultimately one of the things that even got me to move from California back to the East Coast, as I was looking for a job, and Rob was working on being hard, and I was able to just connect with him, and it happened organically, naturally. And so you think about that, it pays dividends in all sorts of untold meaningful ways, and that's the thing that I think is the thing that really target.
Yeah, I'm ready. There were two things for me. One was in senior year, for some reason, the seniors put on a play every year, and for some reason, we were told we couldn't. I can't remember why. We had too much work or something. So we said we would do it sort of sub rosa. We weren't actually told we could, but we did anyway. We put on a musical of Wind in the Willows. And it was because of this, we weren't doing it officially, we were doing it unofficially. We did it completely ourselves. It was so great. I'm sure it was terrible, but it was really great. And we had so much fun doing it. And we had modern dance, and we had singing, and we had group presentations on stage. And it felt wonderful to be able to be part of something that was part of Shipley. You could do whatever you wanted to do. You took a stand and you could carry it out. The other thing was, this is just a little bit of a memory. Our teacher, Mrs. Epps, who was this brilliant presence in the world of literature, had also been in the OSS during World War II because she was so smart. She also worked for Vogue, and she came to class wearing these beautiful tailored suits. And she would she had this wonderful coat, this scarlet coat, knee-length, and she would hang that on the back of the door of our classroom. So the door was closed, and hanging up on it was this beautiful shape of a woman that was there during her whole class. And when we reached Hamlet, she took a roll of paper and she put the entire play of Hamlet on this roll so we could scroll through the play and see visually where every scene was. And I kept thinking how long it must have taken her to write out the entire play of Hamlet, so that we have these two visuals of Mrs. Epps walking back and forth, talking in her beautiful Tidewater accent, showing us exactly how Shakespeare developed this dramatic story with this beautiful, elegant, fitted female form hanging on the back of the door.